My model girlfriend dated me for money, so I secretly used her connections to take revenge. Now, the ex is trying to get me back. I'm 29, and I've been dating my fiancée Bella for almost a year, 25 years. Bella is a novice model and an incredibly beautiful girl. So beautiful that for the first few months, I couldn't even believe that we were dating. My friends, by the way, couldn't believe it either, because I look completely ordinary. Although they say that appearance is not the main thing, I still felt strange next to a girl who was so attractive. Unlike me, I was quite satisfied with simple dates. But about 6 months after the relationship, she began to hint that we needed to get married. By that time, I was so in love with her that I was ready to fulfill any of her wishes. Therefore, 7 months after the relationship began, I decided to propose to Bella, and she agreed without hesitation. Friends and family were a little alarmed by how quickly everything was developing. Since I was happy, they were also happy for me and didn't ask any questions. Everything was going relatively well in our relationship, and although we had our ups and downs, I believed that our love was real, at least for me. But about 3 months ago, she invited her friends to help with the preparation for the wedding. I felt bad that day and slept in the bedroom, but after a while I got up to go eat. Near the kitchen, I stopped because I heard how Bella and her friends were talking about me in the living room. They didn't see me and kept saying nasty things to my address, laughing at their evil jokes. They made fun of all my complexes, and I stood there red with anger and shame. It got worse when Bella herself joked, saying that she hooked up a rich fool and now lives in a dream. This terribly cruel joke made them laugh. I returned to the room because I couldn't hear it anymore. I didn't even want to know what else she could say. I was just burning with rage inside. I wanted to leave her right away, but I held back and decided to play the long game, use her the same way she used me. I'm a web developer and make good money, so I pay all the bills, because Bella can't afford it. She's just starting a model career and doesn't earn enough to support the lifestyle she wants, and her parents are also not rich to help her. That's why she depends on me a lot financially. She even moved in with me just 2 months after we started dating, because she said she didn't have enough money to pay for the rent. I offered to temporarily live with me, but she never agreed. Since then, I pay for all her whims. I pay for her taxi at the casting, for her clothes, accessories, cosmetics, etc. So she was not so wrong. She really found herself a rich fool. When I heard that conversation with her friends, I returned to the room and was already going to part with her, but then decided not to leave her because I came up with a much better plan. I have a cousin who has already tried to become a model. Let's call her Irene. She's 23. I knew for sure that she had a lot of money. Her father is an extremely successful businessman, but unfortunately, he did not approve of his career choice, considering it a waste of time. Therefore, he refused to help her until she found several model contracts on her own. Therefore, Irene moved to our city a few months after I started dating Bella, and I realized that my help would not hurt her. But Bella forbade me to help her, saying that the model business is too competitive, and if we help Irene with contacts, then she could become a threat to Bella. Therefore, Irene had to break through herself. Despite the fact that she had her father's loan, she was still very young, had no contacts, and could not establish contact at all. However, after what I heard from Bella and her friend, I firmly decided to help Irene. In return, she had to send me half the amount from each contract she received thanks to my tips. Since then, I began to track all the castings Bella went to, got acquainted with the right people there, and then passed these contacts to Irene. Sometimes she received a contract, sometimes not, but every time she sent me as much as 1,500 because she was angry with her father for refusing to help her. It was a lot, but who am I to complain? If she wanted to teach her father a lesson, and I made money on it, then let her be angry to infinity. I was completely satisfied with this scheme, because every month I became richer. Of course, I had to hide all this from Bella, because she would definitely suspect something if I suddenly began to show interest in what I had never been interested in before. So it went on for several months, and over time, completely cooled down to my girlfriend. I still didn't leave her, because I continued to use her connections to help Irene, but in addition, I tried to reduce our communication to a minimum. I was romantic and nice to her when we were together, so she had no idea what was really going on. I also told my parents that I was not going to marry Belly a week after I heard her nasty things about me. They did not know the details of the situation, but they knew that there would be no wedding. Of course, I didn't say anything to Belly, and she continued to plan the wedding, asked me to book a venue and agree with the contractors. I agreed, but did not do anything. This week several events happened at the same time, and she finally found out about everything I was doing behind her back. Wedding invitations were supposed to be sent right now, but as I said, I did not prepare anything. In addition, my cousin Irene finally signed a contract with a very prestigious model agency. She was incredibly grateful to me, and even her father was grateful, so he sent me another $5,000 for all the help he provided. To be honest, they are quite generous people, and a few days ago, when Bella asked why the invitations had not yet been sent, I finally decided to confess to her about everything and end our relationship. I spent many months on this disguise, and now, when I have already earned enough, I did not see the point in continuing this show. Irene got what she wanted, and she no longer needed my help. In addition, I have absolutely no feelings for Bella, so there was simply no point in staying with her. When she asked about the invitation, I told her the truth, that I did absolutely nothing about the organization and that there would be no wedding at all. She was, of course, shocked and asked if I was kidding. Then I admitted that I heard her little joke with her friends and did not forgive her. When she asked why I stayed with her for so long, I told her that I used her to promote my career and that Irene very generously paid me for this help. Since I decided to tell the truth, it made no sense to hide anything, so I honestly admitted to everything. She was shocked by what she heard and her reaction was just hysterical. Bella was crying, screaming, and arranged a scene that I betrayed her and used her. I told her that all this happened exclusively because she talked to her friends behind my back, and then Bella began to claim that it was just a joke. The joke was not funny at all, but on the contrary, very offensive and humiliating. We argued about it for a while, but then she gave up and said that I betrayed her in the most terrible way because of an ordinary joke and that she would not even wish this to her enemies. She completely lost her temper and said that she really loved me, and I didn't even consider it necessary to talk to her first and decided to just destroy our relationship because of some stupid joke. I stood on my own and explained that for me it was not just a joke. She was hurt for real. Jokes should be funny, not outright angry, and her words sounded just like that. I was hurt not only by her words, but by the fact that she was sitting among her same empty friends and laughing at my appearance. She didn't even try to protect me, but on the contrary, joined the general fun at my expense. It was this that hurt the most. I was the one who paid and constantly took care of her happiness, so I clearly did not deserve such a relationship. Moreover, I began to work even harder to provide for the two of us. So to hear from her in a laugh, because I was not as attractive as she was especially painful. She packed her things right after the quarrel and left about an hour later. I didn't even try to stop her. I was so angry and offended. The next 2 days, I completely plunged into work to forget and not feel anything. I have long disliked her, but I still got used to her presence. Sometimes it seemed to me that I could fall in love with her again. But now, when it was all over, I just didn't know what to do alone in an empty house in which I was returning. This morning I received a message from Bella that she still loves me and is ready to fix everything if I want it. She wrote that she was terribly missing and could not imagine her life without me. I still haven't answered because I don't know what to tell her. I don't know if I miss her. Do I love her? Do I want to get together again or not? I have no answers to any of these questions, because my feelings are now in complete chaos. I don't know what to tell her. I feel like a complete asshole for what I did to her. Maybe she was right. Maybe I really misunderstood everything and blew an elephant out of a fly. After all, I really used Bella to promote Irene's career and enrich myself. So, before we continue, I suggest you write your opinion in the comments about what you heard. We had a similar story quite recently. I think you heard it. But there, the girl made fun of the guy's intimate details. It seems to me that this is something else. Well, there, I said that. I don't even know how to relate to this. On the one hand, this is not normal and not mature. On the other hand, this really happens when you are young. And maybe it's not worth it, especially when you are both young and immature. But here, it seems to me, a slightly different situation. Because here, the girl directly to her friends says that she dates her boyfriend only because he is a rich fool. Well, this, in my opinion, is already beyond the limit. One thing is to say that he is somehow strangely stoned, or he has some kind of strange longer, and the other thing is to say so. Probably the author did everything right. It seems to me so. Could it be some kind of show-off in front of friends? Well, in theory, maybe it could. But this characterizes a person from a very bad side, if he allows himself such a show-off in front of friends. Let's continue and find out what happened next. I read a lot of comments and messages to my post, and realized that maybe I really crossed the line. I was even going to contact Bella and apologize for everything that happened. But then I got a message from her friend who wanted to tell me something. She sent me a screenshot of a message with Bella in which she asked to live with her for a while until her loser boyfriend doesn't make up with her, or until she finds someone new. Her friend told me that Bella sent this message to their entire company and said that she left after the quarrel, but did not explain why the quarrel happened. This friend felt embarrassed because Bella kept talking about me despite the fact that we were going to get married in a couple of months. Therefore, she decided to tell me what Bella was saying behind my back to ease her conscience. She didn't know that I was already aware of how Bella was talking about me. But I am grateful that her conscience woke up in time and saved me from apologizing to Bella and not accepting her back. All the criticism and condemnation that I received for staying with Bella only for revenge was quite fair. This is what made me reconsider my attitude to the situation and almost pushed me to apologize. But unfortunately, we were all just driven by the nose. Because Bella really deserved everything that I did to her. Maybe if it was about a normal and less selfish person, I would admit that I did wrong. But this is Bella. She is literally the embodiment of narcissism and selfishness. I still can't believe that she was ready to come back to me only because she had nowhere to live. Although this is not surprising, because in recent months she has become quite lazy. She only went to castings and did nothing at home. But it didn't bother me. I quietly cleaned up for both of us, because she brought me good money thanks to Irene. She didn't even go shopping, so I spent less than I earned. When I saw that screenshot, I was so glad that I hadn't had time to answer her yet, and after that, I decided that there would be no reunion. She's just a disgusting person. What I did to her can be called almost madness, but she fully deserved it. I blocked her on all possible platforms, and even thought to move to a bigger apartment so as not to face her. I have already risen quite well thanks to Irene and her father, and in a couple of weeks I have to raise my salary, so it's time to move and start looking after the housing. My friends were quite surprised when I told them that there would be no reunion. They were shocked that I could even make such a story. Some believe that she deserved it, and others think that I went too far and should have just broken up with her the day I heard her joke. I'm sure when everyone finds out about her false confession of love, just to continue to live without a rent and without any contribution to life, everyone will agree that she fully deserved what I did to her. Even if she manages to find a guy and a couple of months of relationship will allow her to move to her, doubt that he will be as blind and enchanted as I was and will allow her to live at his expense. Although who knows, maybe he will find. I don't care anymore. I am just glad that she left, and that I won't have to deal with her in the foreseeable future anymore. Probably Bella realized that not every guy will close his eyes on her way of life, and not everyone will just agree to let her go to him and allow him to spend his money. Unless she decides to look for her daddy. But this is a completely different story. Bella somehow got another number and started writing to me, trying to blackmail me to let her go back. The tactic, to put it mildly, was unsuccessful. She tried to scare me by saying that if I don't let her live until she finds a new guy, then she will tell everyone that I used her connections, and that if she tells the truth people will just think that I acted like a good relative. And I really hope that she is not so naive to think that she can carry all sorts of shit about me, and I will just sit and be silent. I told her that if she starts talking about me, then I will also tell her what she did and the truth will come out. In addition, she has a decent audience in social networks, so it will affect her much more than me. Until she answered, I hope that she will not answer, because she has already really outlined everything to me. But as if there were not enough messages, today, Bella came to my office. The administrator called me because Bella refused to leave until she saw me. I had to take her to the nearest cafe to talk there and not be ashamed in front of my colleagues. And this is exactly what happened. As soon as we sat down at the table, she began to whine that I acted unfairly with her and that she deserves a second chance, despite everything. She wants to prove that under the right circumstances, she could be a good girl. This surprised me very much. I asked what she meant under the right circumstances, because as far as I knew, she already had perfect conditions. She lived without stress at all and did not mean under the circumstances. She said that I spoiled her to the point of outrage, allowing her to wipe her feet. If I gave more resistance, then maybe she would even reach out to me more. I was too uncharacteristic and with an average appearance, and in training, I still did not have a self-esteem, because of which it was damn easy for her to make fun of me without a drop of guilt. And that's why she said what she said. Suddenly, she began to feel an attraction to me, and according to her words, now she can take me seriously as a potential guy. I'm not making it up. Bella really said it out loud. I hardly held back not to laugh at her face while she said it, because it was just absurd. I don't even know if it was her last desperate trick to get me back, or she really believed what she said, but it was damn funny. In the end, I just said that I would think about her words and later contact her, because I hardly held back my laughter. She even made me promise that I would talk to her when I got home. Here's another reason why I'm glad we broke up. She always started to whine when she realized that I was angry at her. I don't know why. Maybe she thought that if she pretended to be a little girl, it would make her more attractive in my eyes. In fact, it just caused disgust. I was too polite to tell her about it. I came home half an hour ago. I just can't get it that after everything that happened, she's still trying to come back to me just so she could have a place to live. It's really a pity. She can't even collect the remnants of her pride and leave me alone. I am not going to talk to her anymore and take care that next time she tries to get in touch, she understands. I don't even want to know her. It's only been a day since Bella came to my office, and today, she called me again. This time from a friend's phone. I answered because I wanted to finally finish everything. When she asked if I thought about her words, I answered that there was nothing to think about. If they put a gun to my head and demanded that I return to her, I would still refuse. I staged a whole tirade and told her everything that was boiling. I said that she was a pathetic loser that I no longer intended to deal with. Let her better start looking for someone new, who she can suck up to. Bella began to argue, claiming that the only reason why I have a lot of money now is because I used her and her connections to gain trust in my rich cousin. I sucked up to her. Well, this is where the story ends, and it may seem that the end is unexpected, but in fact, everything is clear what happened next. They just broke up. And by the way, only I have questions in my head about how the author got all these connections from his girlfriend. The only thing that comes to my mind is that the dude just took Bella's phone and watched all sorts of contacts from her clients. Well, but on the other hand, it seems that this is some kind of wildly unreliable scheme. Write your opinion in the comments about this issue. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so as not to miss new videos. Good luck.